Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we are here on the studio set. And let me just apologize right up front. Listen, my assistant didn't come in today. We didn't get some things done. So that's the reason for the backdrop behind you. But give me some time. We're going to get that right. I need to make sure we revisit that. But we have in the studio with us today a brother who has come into my life for such a time as this, and yours as well. And you're going to be blessed. But let me ask you to do a few things right off the top. Go ahead and grab a friend and say, listen, you need to hear this for yourself. Go ahead and share this broadcast far and as wide as you can. Go ahead and grab something you can write with and something you can write on, because class is about to be in session. And if I have our brother, Dr. Adrian Hendricks II, with us today, we'll tell you more about his bio later. We're going to get to that. This is a brother that has been doing some things, and it will take us a day to get through some of it. But he's here with us today. Joshua Generation, you're about to be blessed. Doc, bless you, man. Welcome to the program.
I'm so excited about being on with you today. I'm looking forward to not only this conversation, but the growth of it and all the things that, we really need to see and need to put out into the social atmosphere. We got work to do because we got a world to change. So let's get busy.
Absolutely. First of all, man, let me hold that hat. Can you get it to me?
I got you. As soon as I see you, I got you.
Right, we'll make something happen on that, man. Well, man, thank you again for your time. You've had a busy schedule today, and we've set this up a couple of weeks back. When I saw your book, quick backstory, I had gotten connected with you on Facebook 2 years ago. In fact, I believe it was somewhere in that neighborhood. And they hacked my page, man. They hacked my Facebook page. And, slowly but surely, I began to add back everybody that I could remember, everybody that, ran across the feed. Right. And then, one day, yours popped back up. I said, wait a minute, we not connected again. And as soon as I did, I saw your new book. And the moment I saw that title, I said, look at here, look at here, look at here. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about his newest release. I'm telling you, mine is all dog-eared, and I got all kind of pen.
Yes, indeed.
You're going to need to get you. Listen, let me tell you this. Don't get one copy, because then you might be a hater yourself. Go ahead and get a couple, because it's somebody in your life that you're going to need to share this with if you really want to see that. Listen, if there's any favor on your life, if there's any vision that you're walking on with God's assignment, I promise you, and don't underestimate yourself. Don't think that, you're not doing anything big and you're not significant enough and no one's noticing you. No, we're going to find out today from Dr. Adrian why you need a couple of copies of HATERPROOF. So, Doc, tell us a little bit about yourself. We want to start with that, since I didn't do your bio. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the content of HATERPROOF.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. And so Dr. Adrian Hendricks II, I'm a native of East St. Louis, Illinois, born and raised in East St. Louis, and grew up in Illinois. Spent lots of time through Southern Illinois, Springfield, Central Illinois, up to Chicago, kind of earned my stripes and all my gang banging activities in the city, and came to Missouri to go to school, actually. Came to HBCU, Lincoln University, to get my undergrad degree, and met my wife and just got rolling, man, building a life, and really just trying to figure out what my purpose was in the world. And so bounced around and started to learn and unpack my degrees. And so I've got a master's in education, master's in church planning, another master's just about done in theology. Started working on a doctorate in organizational leadership and development. And so finishing that with GCU in the meantime, I got a doctorate in divinity. And so just trying to do it, man, trying to really make impact. Planted a church here in Jeff City in 2011, the Joshua House Church, been in ministry since 97. And so I've been trying to put it together, man. And really, this book is a culmination of 10 years of work and concepts that have been building over time. And so just really excited about getting started, man. Just really excited about making a difference.
Hats off to you, brother. You have lived in the classroom, and it is so evident in the way that you just gave us the content of the book, because you didn't do it. You know, some books are just inspirational and motivational. Or maybe I shouldn't just say just that, because inspiration and motivation is required. But man, you educated us. You took this subject and you treated it like a science. Yeah. And now we can understand why. Because you have a scientific mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So my background, a part of that, I did lots of years working across the state, doing training and facilitation and Myers-Briggs and so on and so forth. So my concept of looking at things was from that profile, personality type kind of background. And so when I was looking at this, I said, let me profile these individual personalities. Let me profile them out and build that background so people can understand what they see and what they look at when they're looking at a hater. And so because the term was so, you know, it's global. This term is a global term. It's all over the world. And many people use it. And there's different viewpoints on what a hater is. But for me, I began to define it as a habitual antagonist that endangers reaching success. And so this is not just a person that's not liking what you like, but, you know, an antagonist has a disposition and they have an attitude towards you. And so that habitual nature of that antagonist becomes a real live hater. And then we get to dissect all the different ways that haters show up so that we educate each other on how to deal with them and not be thrown off. You know, this ultimately is about you having a place of knowing so that you can accomplish your goals, your dreams, and get to where you need to get to while not being sidelined by the attacks and the strategies of people that might not be on your team.
Yes, yes. Man, you're helping us already.
Yeah.
Backstory, you said 10 years in the making. Was there any one thing that you'll be able to pinpoint for us that you said, you know what, I need to do this? And the title just, it was apparent that you needed to go in that direction. Was there one thing, or was it a combination of things?
Well, this is what happened. I began writing the book, and the title of the book was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Haters.
Woo!
Right. And so Covey stuff was out there, the 7 habits of this and that. Yeah. And I was sitting on this concept, but I couldn't rest with it because it exemplified, or it seemed to exalt the hater, the 7 habits of the hater.
Yeah.
I wanted to come from the angle of how do we deal with the hater, not just, you know, the subject of the hater, but how do we deal with that concept and then build a frame around it.
Yes.
So I sat on this for years and years and kept doing my research and my study. And then I was sharing with my little sister about the book, and she read it, and she, you know, she's gonna give it to me straight.
Yeah.
And, she read the first 3 chapters because I flipped the term and I said, no, it needs to be something that is resilient to this. And so I said, I need a bulletproof vest for the mind. And so this hater-proof mindset is what I consider a bulletproof vest for the mind. When you go out into the world, you have so many things shooting at you. How do I protect my own mental peace, my own space, my own purpose? And then how do I walk in genuine power? And so my sister was reading the book, and she said, this is good. And then a couple of weeks later, she passed away. And so when she died, this was one of the last things that we talked about. And in that moment of I don't know if I have tomorrow, I said I need to get the book done. And so I began to attack it with a different kind of fervency to make sure that I can get it out.
Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing that candid experience, man. Our peace and love to you and your family in that. It's amazing how God shows us that time is short for all of us. We just we know what's going to happen. We just don't know when. You're helping a lot of people. Let's go further. You gave us the definition. You gave us the why, in memory to your sister, and legacy to her. That was a strong part of just getting it done. Now we're here. Let's dive down deep. One of the things that helped me, Doc, was how you broke down the concept that there are so many different types. Because we would think, you know, that is just this. It is a global experience, but we would think that all haters are alike.
Right.
But you showed and you demonstrated that they come in various shapes, sizes, and colors.
Yeah.
And you at least chose 6 specific hater types, if you will. Can you kind of, well, I don't want you to give us all the content in your book, because I want everybody to come and get with you, and we'll put the website up in just a moment. But can you let me just go ahead and pull out the first one, as you call it. this first one. I love how your language, it was right on point and everything. When you deal with haters, the first one that you came to was, you called it the vexer.
Yes.
VEXER.
Yeah.
And we always talk, you vex my spirit.
You know? Yeah, exactly.
Talk about that for us.
And so, you know, I started looking at the common experiences. And so when I was doing my background on this, I was using social media. I was polling people. Get all these, you know, define a hater. Tell me what your experiences are. And so as people were giving me the stories, you know, over the years, some commonalities just kept showing up. And I saw those persons as real entities, because I had them in my own life, and everybody that I talked to had the same thing. And so you bump into these people, and as soon as you see them, the first thing out their mouth is something that agitates you. You know, it's like their job is to come and drop a bomb in your mind. And so the vexer is that personality type that they come to pull worry triggers. And we all have them, but if we're not cognizant of what is being done, you really don't know why your life and your day and your week gets disrupted. And so to be able to identify these people and see them from such a far distance away, it helps you to prepare. But the vexer, they specialize in this. They come to sideline with you, share information with you, sometimes spill the tea, whatever it might be. But when they're done, you frustrated.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When they're done, you are depleted many times. You find yourself anxious. And so when we think about stress-related illnesses, when we think about mental health illnesses, when we think about those small things that turn into big things, which turn into gunplay, which turn into bullying, which turn into lost jobs and lost wages, because we haven't found a way to be in this environment without losing our cool, because we hadn't seen the strategy. And so now we're able to see the strategy a little bit clearer and identify, oh, no, I see what you're doing. I know who you are.
What are some of the places where we might find those vexers? Are they specific to one arena, or can we find them all over?
No, they are not. You listen, I'm surprised that sometimes how we think, like we think that only certain places will facilitate certain experiences. And then you go look in your family and like, no, I got some haters in my family. They hating on me for real.
Oh,
I have some haters in my job, my classroom, haters at church.
Lord.
I've been pastoring for just a little bit, and I know that there's some haters that are in every environment, which makes it so critical, because here you are moving from scene to scene, online, offline, doesn't matter. And your emotional stability is being rocked by the presence of these persons. And really, truly, all you have is ownership of self. Lord. I can only have ownership of me, but to be informed about my scenario, which also helps me to build a better platform by how I deal and how I move in the world. And so this becomes a powerful tool. That's why it's rooted in this mindset concept. Part of my doctoral work is on growth mindset and how growth mindset moves toward academic completion and success and all these benefits of having a growth mindset. And so in the same frame, what our mindset is going to lean us to success or not. And a hater-proof mindset leans us to a position of power. And that's the place that we really can make some quality decisions about how we're going to move in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You helping us already, man. Just to hear an explanation of this vexer, and then to hear that they are not quarantined somewhere up where we might want to keep them, but they've been released all over.
That's right. And so, you know, some of the quickest strategies that I've seen with vexers is that they just sow these seeds of doubt. You know, here it is, you've got dream, you've got ambition, you got plans, and for whatever reason, you were confident, you felt good about it. You didn't have it all together, but you was putting it together.
Yeah.
And then when you bump into them, they done thrown all kind of shade and all kind of seeds of doubt. And we know what happens with every seed. If you don't pull that thing, it will take over your mind.
My God.
Or you identify that that's the seed that's being sown, and so I've got to deal with that. And so vexes are very, very crafty in how they do what they do. But every hater is. Absolutely.
Ooh, skill set on that. But Doc, yes, I see Miss Andrea is here with us, and she's supporting you. She says life challenging, and so many others have responded. And I'm just putting in the notes because here's the second type that you brought out. You call this one the pretender. Man, let me tell you, I like to chew my tongue off.
Yeah.
Some of the things you said about the pretender.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't know how you feel about it, but this was the most meaningful to me.
Yeah.
For so many different reasons, personal reasons. But can you speak on this and let me know, in your studies and your profiles and your research, do you find that a lot of people have a problem in this area with this particular hater right here, the pretender?
You know, I think that one of the most common definitions that I got when I started to look at, you know, what this hater person or these persons were, the most succinct way that people thought about a hater was a pretender, was the betrayer, was the person that came into my life and then blew my life up, tried to sabotage what I had going. And so this one I wanted to put up front in the book so that it will help people understand not only the substance, but also the strategy of how do you build this resilience, particularly because this is such a common experience. And so the pretender is that one. And I really wanted to try to help people to see all of these different tricks and these nuanced spaces that the pretender comes in, or how they come in and what they're coming for, you know, why they're coming and sitting next to you and playing the game, you know, cracking the jokes, giving the high fives, and all the while they've got their eye on something else. And it says two things. It helps us to understand. One is that we have value that we may not be understanding, but they see it. They see your value. They see what you've got going on, and there's an attempt to get a hold of that. And so the pretender is explosive. I tell people now, if you get to chapter 3, and you don't like this book, send it back. I'll give you money back.
They pretended themselves.
You hear me? If you get to this, because one of the things that I like about it, when people read this chapter, faces of their pretenders start floating through their mind.
Bruh.
They start literally seeing the people that have been in their life and that have come and been a part of their world and have disrupted that peace and disrupted their heart. And so this becomes really a great space to say, okay, now what are we going to do about our lives? Because you can't remove them. You don't know. You just don't know.
Right.
But you can make some decisions about qualifying people. So how do we qualify the people that we let in our inner circle? How do we adjust to this knowing? Jesus had 12 people, 3 in the inner circle, right? One of the 12 was a pretender. One of those. Everybody has an inner circle, and so you can't be hurt if they outside. So it's gonna be inside. They're gonna be close. But at least you got a radar detector to start saying, okay, I'm noticing the behaviors.
Ooh, you're helping us already again. Let me ask you this, Dr. Adrian. I believe we're in an age, and this is my conviction, that it's a dangerous place for us to be in the body of Christ, because so many people, they speak as if the gift is just cutting folk off. I mean, the gift of the cut off, cut out. I mean, it's immediate. Someone says something you don't like, or looks at you a funny way, or question anything, criticize anything, whatever. I mean, just instantly cut out, cut off. I don't believe that's the extreme that we need to go to. We're not called by that biblically, but there's a circle that you just spoke of. Can you qualify that a little bit more for us? Because the pretender is so good at the game they play.
Yeah.
And because they can get in your house, they can get in your inner circle. Some of them are in your family. They got your last name. They probably got some money from you too and some other stuff.
Right.
Talk to us about strategies we can do to kind of not make the mistake of just cutting folk just prematurely, but make sure that we qualify who's in that circle. Can you help us with that?
Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned years ago, especially, you know, in ministry, you have to be able to trust people. Yeah. And to trust them, I got to test them. Right. And so I began to do that. I began to test their mentality, test their mindset, test their generosity. And so, you know, again, a lot of our relationships are built on these commonalities. Oh, we like the same thing. We enjoy the same football team. We kick off a great conversation. And then in the conversation, we think that that's trustworthy enough. And then when they show who they really were, we act surprised. Right? But they've been who they were the whole time.
The whole time.
We just didn't check. We didn't test it well enough to at least get some peace. Now, the thing to me is, I'm not going to be able to validate and be, you know, the kind of person I just don't trust anybody, and I feel like I need to be in a box. But at least I've done some due diligence, right? And so the helper, you know, this person, this type, the comforter, this person, this type, at least I can identify the common traits. And then if that's really the move, I can check it out. I can dig a little bit deeper. And so what we're really trying to do is cultivate a thinking mindset or a thinking audience, a thinking group of people who are just not so blind. And so let's take the scales off the eyes. Shine the light. Let's let them see.
Okay, there you go. I love it. Thank you for helping us with that. Because I mean, we want to do right. And we don't want to become those vindictive persons who, what you just said, well, I don't, you know, I don't trust anybody. Well, what makes you so trustworthy to even make a statement, you know? So the thing of it is, I think you've helped us in that again. Now, this next one that you bring out, it speaks, I mean, they all speak volumes, so let me just bring it up. The supplanter, my God, dangerous, 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 dangerous.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
And so let me just clean up something real quick. One of the things about the pretender, again, is that when you look at motive, you'll be able to find that motive of jealousy and envy at the root. And so with the supplanter, again, what's the motive? And so one of the things that I discovered and I started to unpack is you will have people that are watching you. They're positioning themselves with you specifically because you have a quality about you that is so attractive, that is so cutting edge and forward, but they don't want you to have the limelight. They don't want you to get the plus. They don't want you to get the benefit. And so the supplanter is one of those persons who likes to steal or absorb the credit of your work. Take the substance of what you did and call it from themselves. Typically, there's a power dynamic that's going on as well. So they have access to they got the boss's circle, the boss's ear. They have access to different people that you may not have access to, but they coming back to you to get all the goods. And so when they come and get all the information from you, you wondering why you're not getting the promotion when you have outpaced, outworked, out hustled, out contributed everybody else, and you don't know. There's a supplanter that's been working on the backside, taking those concepts and moving them forward and getting the credit. And so they build monuments unto themselves. That's just one of those things where their whole substance, their whole concept of life is not the hard work, which you're willing to do. To pay your dues, then study and put in that effort. Nah, that's not them. They say I can take it. And so what I really like about this is, you know, that you're dealing with a supplanter, particularly when they start stealing your ideas, because your ideas are so valuable. You know, $1 million idea in the wrong ears.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
You put your dream in the wrong ears and they ran off with it.
Good God Almighty.
You know, it's one of those things where you definitely got to be mindful here. So we build that hater-proof mindset about how do I articulate, one, if you've been hurt by this hater. Many of us have. You've been hurt by this particular hater type. What do you do? Well, you got to realize, well, if I came up with that one, I could definitely come up with another one, right? and I can protect it different. I can
Right.
deal with it different. I learned the lesson and I move forward with a different perspective of how I'm going to engage in the world and be wiser the second time around.
Right. That's some stuff. Something came to my mind while you were eliminating that piece. Not just ideas, but what about the supplanter? Can the supplanter steal relationships? Well, here it is. You have something that's a precious relationship to you.
Yeah.
Supplanter doing what they do.
Oh man.
Using their techniques and their skill sets. Can you talk about that?
That's right. And so, you know, again, sometimes when you look at pretenders are trying to get in the circle and trying to manipulate for one goal. The supplanter is really coming to rob you. And so they used to tell me back in the day, if you got something important, don't bring your homeboy. Because the light is for you.
Yes.
And you'll find out that sometimes you bring somebody and they'll come and steal your shine necessarily. And that's not to be, you know, selfish or to be exclusive. It's just to be wise about how you're moving.
Yes.
And so the supplanter then again, their whole setup is on the take. It always was a hustle. You didn't know it was a hustle. You didn't know that it was trying to move in a certain direction for the goal. Even though you presume that thing would be with you the whole time, or that relationship would be strong, you didn't know there was a target on it.
Oh my God.
And so I've seen this. I've recently seen this where people that are close to you will really intentionally go after those relationships that they see are valuable to you.
My Lord.
Because they're missing something in their own life. Jeez. And they become a supplanter.
Good God Almighty. Let me ask you this. In terms of this supplanter, if you will, are they always aware that they're doing this, or could this sometimes be something they're doing and they? Because sometimes you look at it, you be like, "Are they serious?" You know, how does this? You know?
I definitely get that. You know, and I struggle with some of that even as I was writing the book. But I had to go back to the premise, and the premise was it's a habitual antagonist. Right? It's a habitual act. It's not a, oh, you did this one time, or this becomes a behavior pattern that you have, you know, you're diagnosing. And so what you're looking at off the top is, hold up now. All right.
Yeah.
Fool me once, shame on you.
Yeah.
As Bush said. So
yeah, okay.
As J. Cole said. So you know, when you're really looking at what's happening, any of these things can be circumstantial. We get that. But a true hater has an intention, has almost a maliciousness about themselves, or even a place of value where you're diminished in value so that they can rise.
My Lord.
So, that becomes just a part of the game. And so looking at this allows you to, again, clarify the language, clarify the conversation, have a better perspective on what is really moving, and then not be, oh, they didn't mean, no, they did.
How do we protect ourselves, though, from becoming paranoid that everybody is out to get you? Because if you're not careful, and I don't think if your discernment is as it ought to be, and all of us are lacking in some areas, that you can kind of be looking, I mean, around you.
Everybody.
Come on. Yeah. How do you handle that?
Yeah. And so one of the things that I like about this concept is what you're really trying to develop is a balanced life and a balanced mind, right? And so being aware is what we're cultivating. We're cultivating this awareness, this bulletproof mindset, this hater-proof mindset is about an awareness that becomes tangible to your practice. And so all the strategies that we put in, from the affirmations to the meditation, the prayer pieces, visualization, how do you see yourself, right? So this truly the haters are in the backdrop of your own development. And so as you're moving forward, you understand it doesn't matter who shows up, because I'm on purpose. I'm on direction. I'm trying to go after my goals, my life, and even my way. Right. And so you get to peel off some of that pressure, because you don't want to be paranoid. You get to peel off some of that pressure about who can be what. And as you are affirming yourself, making powerful decisions, making powerful practices, having a life that says, you know, I'm pursuing life intentionally. Those things help you to brush your shoulders off, as Jay-Z said, and keep on moving.
All right, I love it. I love it.
That's right.
What I hear you saying is your strongest defense is to be strong on the inside, to be walking in your A game.
Be walking in your A game, be intentional. And so as the wisdom unpacks in your own life, you get to see who's moving. And that's why when reading the book, I really wanted people to write through it and personalize this guide, but then also use these strategies. In the last chapter, we started talking about hater-proof habits and powerful decisions that you make. And all of those decisions are inside-out decisions. You know, how am I deciding about my life and about my strategy, about my voice, about my purpose? How am I making these real quality affirmations meaningful to my practice? And so when you see the haters, I'm not so disturbed by the haters. Matter of fact, I can give wisdom to the conversation after I see where they're stuck.
My.
Right? I get to listen. You may not even know that this is your behavior. You may not even know. I've got a word for this. I have language for this. This has been your practice and your behavior. Let me help you. If I love you, I'm gonna help you. Right? If I'm compassionate, I'm not gonna leave you stuck in where you are. I'm gonna help you, but I gotta help me first. I gotta get me get me healthy first, so that I can have the articulation to help you and to make this a quality experience. Because then you move from a hater to an enemy. So, you know, that's
a whole different thing.
Right. You get to navigate that a different way.
Man, you're helping us again. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, you're listening to Dr. Adrian Hendricks II. He's just pumping out these jewels, pumping out these gems. I hope you're writing them down. And I also hope that you're sharing this broadcast. I promise you, someone somewhere needs to hear what he's sharing right now. And they need to go to his website that we're going to put up in just a moment to get their own copy, and they can begin the classroom instruction themselves. I promise you, it's going to be worth it. Now, Doc, I heard you say something powerful. Thought came to me, and I didn't really consider this. You're telling us that there's hope for haters.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Before they go into the enemy zone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, one of the things, I was talking to a good friend of mine, Dr. Dick Dalton, and we were sharing about this concept and this work. And he brought up a really interesting nuance again that I'm looking into now about the hater in me. Right?
Jesus.
The hater on the inside of ourselves.
Yes.
I'll take it a step further. There's some of us, we have a record playing in our mind. You know, I start talking about ruminations and how our mind moves and how those thought patterns keep us locked down. And so there's a possibility that even you can see hater behavior in yourself. And so we know that there's places for correction. And we want to make sure that not only are we correcting our own behavior if we're unaware, but then also being compassionate. The greatest gift that we give to others is freedom, is love. And so because I care about the people that I'm investing my life with, because I care about family, and even coworkers and people that have maybe looked at you in a certain way, you get to lift the lid. You get to change your whole perspective by walking in your own power. Because truly, if you're walking in purpose, you know that no one can take that. They can't take my purpose. This belongs to me, right? So I have the freedom then to put my talent to use to help unlock the change for somebody else. That's truly revolutionary. That's truly world changing, right? That's the kind of work that we have to be on in this 2020
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So there's a strategic, and there's a microscopic, there's a micro, and there's a macro on both levels of the hate that we experience, inward and outward. That's going to help a lot of people by itself. Now, man, listen, I know you can talk about this all day long. And we're going to go 30. We're over 30, but we got to finish these last couple of elements because somebody's getting set free right now. But ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, if you haven't done it already, share this website, www.hateproofmindset.com. Hateproofmindset.com. Rush to the site. There's a lot of valuable information there. Read on his bio, see some of the other stuff. Have them to come to your ministry, your organization, whether it's secular or sacred. This is a brother born for such a time as this. He has a word for this generation. But let's go ahead and go to this next one. Doc, I put it up, and right away, I got a message. I wish I could show it to you so you can see my screen. Yeah. But it says YouTube rejected my comment. And they said usually that means they think it's a spam. But what it is, this next hater type is called the terrorist. Yeah. And when I put up terrorist
and got blocked,
did not even accept it. And because they have the wisdom not to accept it, I think that we should learn the wisdom not to accept it. So help us learn how not to accept and how to handle the hater type that is called the terrorist in our life. I'm just going to put it up with an abbreviation there. Yeah. Terrorist. Go ahead and help us with that.
You know, so one of the great things about looking at your haters and them being those habitual antagonists is that you get to see patterns of behavior. You get to watch, and you are keen about how you watch and engage with people. And so the terrorist hater type is really, you're getting into that unscrupulous, that vindictive, that very strategic personality that is really on an assignment. And you realize that there's, you know, again, I like how you opened earlier. You said to those people that have purpose in them, that have goodness, gifts, and grace on their life. If you're living a life that is not only blessing you and blessing others, those that are in ministry and so on and so forth, you've been called into these assignments, and you got to know there's a real enemy out here that's really trying to stop you. And really trying to sabotage your life. And so fear is one of those things that everybody struggles with. Everybody deals with some aspect of fear and how you manage that fear. And so when you see that there is a person that is inciting fear in your life, you got to realize all the biochemical effects, all the neurological effects, all the emotional effects of that work. They are stealing your life from you if you're not managing this and managing it well. And so I like one of the things that the suicide bomber hater. This is one of those caveats of this particular terrorist type. Now think about this. You're dealing with somebody that will, if you cross them, they'll blow up your whole situation. They will do whatever it takes to cause damage in your life. They have no regard for themselves. They have no regard for you, what is valuable to you, what is precious to you, et cetera, et cetera. And so we see this, and we see this happening in our culture, in our society. And so why did this happen that way at the board meeting? Why did this happen that way at the family reunion? You might be dealing with somebody that really was using that power dynamic. And so a lot of these hater types, there's a power element that's rooted in here, and they're using leverage points to get what they want, or to manipulate the scenario, or to keep you out of getting what you want.
Right.
So you need to be able to see how that thing move. And once you're able to see it, you can reassess how you put your value, where you put your value, or the strategy that you need to have in place. Again, bulletproof vest for the mind. How do you move forward with that resilience that says, I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to be afraid. I am on purpose. God's got my back. and I'm gonna still keep on going.
That's some good stuff. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll go to this website, if you'll write it down, you'll take the time to share it with someone else as well. This is another great resource from the man of God, Dr. Adrian Speaks, the number 2, the letter U.com. Dr. Adrian Speaks to you.com. Doc, tell us what resources can we find there that might be a little different from the first one?
Absolutely. The HATERProofMindset.com is really about unpacking this subject of the hater. We'll have a lot of the videos and some of the resources as we go forward in creating HATERProof Mindset coaches. And we're really going to build that out as a really intensive platform for this subject. But I do a lot of other work. I'm a state specialist in youth development, and a lot of the work that I do involves researching certain topics as to academic and success, particularly for minority males. And so I really built that as a liftoff point for a lot of the subjects that I think I see in our community. And so parenting, how do we build mindset? How do we build resilience? How do we build academic support? The functionality of those things. I've got a couple of blog posts. And so that's really the more Haiti side of the research pieces on that website, which gives us a great platform for, injustice issues, social issues, a lot of that work. So I try to keep my lanes clean.
Okay. Make a hole. We
got to get in.
Yes, sir. Well, man of God, this brings us to the 5th, not the last. We have one more round, and every round is getting higher and higher. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this one. Good God Almighty. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've even known individuals like this, but they can hurt you.
Yeah. Yes,
they are called the manipulative liar.
Yeah.
Talk to us about this one, man of God.
Now, one of the things that I really have seen over and over again, like some people, they lie as a response to pressure. I don't want to get in trouble, so I lied. So I lied. Okay, that's one level of lying. You tell a white lie, right? The manipulative liar is not that person.
No. There's two different people.
No. This, again, if the point is to hurt you and to move different pieces, whether that's emotional pieces, relationship pieces, the manipulative liar is thinking through how to be effective. And so the strategy becomes lying to such a degree that you are exposed, that you are made vulnerable, that you are depicted in a certain kind of way. One of the things that I said in the book, that this liar is the type who will misrepresent the truth of what you said and argue with you about your intentions and your perspective. And so not only will they lie, but then they will tell you how you felt about what you said and what you were trying to mean when you said what you said. And, again, I can go down the list of certain experiences in my own life. And as I've watched others, this person, not only did they lie, they got loud, they started cussing you out, the behavior to defend the lie, all those things became so animated and so volatile, so vociferous in how they moved. And so we have to be one step ahead, knowing these are the types of things that can happen, and look out for that kind of manipulation.
Good God Almighty. Doctor,
go ahead.
Let me ask you this, sir. Is it possible? Because sometimes, it makes you hit. Is it possible that they're trying to deceive you, but maybe they're not trying? Maybe it's because of self-deception that they have deceived themselves, lied to themselves, and they believe what they told themselves, and that's why it's so powerful the way that they lie to others. Is there some way we can sugarcoat it that they're not these evil persons, that they're this? It's just hard to swallow sometimes.
Right. And so, we have to look at each of these types in some degree with eyes of compassion, because, we get to look at ourselves and the scenario from the perspective of truth. At least that's what we think. We own the truth about the narrative of what's going on in my life and in that scenario. And then you have whether that other person is a liar or supplanter or a vexer or whatever the case is. My compassion in it is, how do I help this person, or how do I work with this person, and how do we maybe mend relationship, maintain relationship? All those are questions that you need to ask. And every day we bump into people that have mental health issues, possibly.
Right.
They have perspectives about you, perspectives about the world, their worldview. And right now we're talking from a Western African-American cultural context. Now, what do you say to the same behavior that's in an Eastern context, an Anglo context? And so the manipulative liar is that. And whether they have a frame that is justified or not, that frame is still active and moving in your world, sabotaging your peace. Now, when it becomes critical, we get active, right? So if your job is on the line because somebody lied about you and said that you did A, B, and C that you didn't do, right? Now you want to lawyer up and be ready, but they were showing signs all along. And so for us, it's about exposure to the behavior, exposure to the practice, asking the legitimate questions. Is this, could this, maybe I saw this way. Is that true? And give us a little bit of space to dig deeper, but then not be blindsided if it's real. And so we get to unpack that space about what's real or not. Now, helping the others becomes a part of maybe the work of wisdom. Helping them to have a better frame, helping them to have a better understanding about what they do or the impact of what they do. But it becomes a that's a judgment call as to whether that relationship is worth it, or if this person needs to be out of my life because they're too dangerous, they're too reckless, and my future can be tied to that kind of reckless activity. My children's protection, my spouse protection. I just can't allow that kind of reckless nature to have freedom in my world.
It is so
boundaries.
Yes, thank you for sharing those boundaries, because there are times when if it's just you and you got hurt, maybe sometimes you can handle it if it was just going to impact you on a personal basis.
Right.
It's impacting your career, it's impacting your ministry, it's impacting your family.
Right.
Things that are near and dear to you, sacred to you. Those boundaries are necessary. So thank you for bringing it out.
That's right.
Well, we're going to come on down to N Street, and I'm up here. You blessed us, and people have been sharing, and I want to encourage those who haven't done so to go to the HATERPROOFMindset.com, and let's chat about this last one. It's called the bully, hater type number 6.
What?
Sir, because we got some bullying going on today.
I wonder where. Listen, man.
High places.
The bullish bully was the second concept, the second most popular concept of the hater. Maybe even the first. Like, everyone just had that idea: hater, the bully, right? Hater, pretender. And so this nature of this person, again, you're really talking about power dynamics. You're talking about who has placement, who has voice, diminishing of your own value, diminishing of your placement in work in these spaces. And so workplace intimidation, for example, going to work every day, putting in the hours, putting in the time, and then have someone demean you publicly, demean the value of your work. Or take that same concept to others and demean you in front of others, creating a culture where, here you moving from job to job or from place to place because of the behavior that someone just kind of infringes on you. Maybe you're just a mild-mannered, nurturing personality, and you become the victim. You become the person that's an easy target. And so the bullish bully is really one to deal with, and to deal with some strategy, with some clarity, with some courage, but also having some knowing about how this person operates and where the leverage points are in that relationship.
My Lord, how can one protect themselves? I mean, because there's so many things nowadays that these things can get very extreme.
Exactly.
Being bullied is not something we just see and hear about in elementary schools. We know it starts there.
Right.
But a lot of times, because those bullies were never properly dealt with as an adolescent,
right,
now you're dealing with that same individual who's 25 years old and has a girlfriend, a wife, or a boyfriend, a husband, or whatever. Right. Maybe they're a pastor, maybe they're a member, maybe they're a politician, maybe they could be 1,000 million things, right?
Right.
How do you protect yourself?
Well, you know, one of the things that I found as a personal tool for my own life, I have to have, you know, my first job is to have clarity about me. Know thyself, right? Have some sense of who I am. In my favorite book, As a Man Thinketh, So Is He, right? And so this concept about what other people try to do, what other people say, it only has penetration ability if I don't know me.
Right.
If I don't have a clear sense of who I am in this world. And so in that quietness and in that confidence, I have strength of resilience to stand up for myself, to be not reactionary.
Right.
And so many times we get people in these situations, the reactions go and the emotions go, and it gets violent or physical or whatever the case may be, when you could have just been poised. You could have been resilient. You could have been just adamant about what you wanted to offer to this circle or offer to this environment. And so I don't make my judgment based on what you think. I make my judgment on what I'm intending for you to see. And so in the social media world, you know, we get people that get online and they just go all over the place, right?
Yes.
And I tell my team and people around me, I said, the only thing that you see on social media from me is what I want you to see. It should say what I intend for it to say. It should promote what I intend for it to promote, because I own it. It does not own me.
That's
and
good.
So in the same perspective, here it is that you dealing with bullies, dealing with people who are opposing you, that self-centered confidence, that self-understanding, that self-awareness is your first strength. Knowing who grandmama said I was, right? Knowing what mama and them said my name meant. Right? And then being able to stand on that and not feel the need to argue about it, not feel the need to debate about it, but just be it. If that's who you are, be that thing, and truly to have that standard of excellence on the inside of you. You know, one of the things about this bullish bully that I really like, they're so arrogant, right? They are so arrogant, so voiceful. They put things on the front line so fast that they made an assessment about who you were based on your attire, based on how they thought you dressed in the context of the environment. All those things that are so subjective to the fullness of who you are. And you get to unpack the truth of who you are in face of their misunderstanding.
Yes.
That's powerful leverage. They don't even know who they see when they see you until you reveal who you are.
My, you've helped us again, sir. I can't thank you enough. It's a pleasure to have my own personal copy. I'll be continuously sharing the word. We're going to share this broadcast. If you've been watching this broadcast, y'all, I need y'all to do this. I need y'all to do some exercise, some due diligence, and go a little bit extra today. You know for a fact that we're living in a society now filled with bullies.
Yeah.
From the lowest to the highest levels. And this is really without regard for any one side or the other. A bully is what a bully does. And it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. And we need to make sure that we protect our families. We need to make sure that we protect ourselves. And this brother right here is literally helping people around the globe now with this message. Would you help us get it out? Will you go to haterproofmindset.com and Dr. Adrian speakstoyou.com with the number 2 and the letter U at the end. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those 2 websites, HATERPROOFMindset.com and Dr. Adrian Speaks, the number 2, the letter U.com. Go to those 2 websites now. Save them on your desktop. Save them on your tablet or your phone. Go ahead and mark them right now, because you know how we are. We'll forget. We have good intentions, but let's be sure that we get the word out. And by all means, order a couple of copies. Give them out as gifts. We have some holidays coming up. We have some birthdays coming up. Some great things that you can literally, and graduations are right around. I know it's February, but they're right around the corner. And you have that young man and that young lady that you care so much about. They're going to go off to school. They're going to go to military. They're going to go do something, and they're going to run smack dab in an environment, and it's going to be filled with haters. Go ahead and make sure that they're hater-proof now. So that they don't have to be hated on improperly later. So we want to thank you, Dr. Adrian. Give us some closing comments, and we'll be talking real soon, man. Close us out.
Absolutely. You know, one of the most, I think, the most powerful piece of this book is not just the uncovering of the haters, but the very last chapters, we deal with what I call hater-proof habits. This is where the rubber meets the road, making those powerful decisions about how you're going to move forward in your life. Deciding to raise a voice of value, deciding to meditate, deciding to investigate the warfare that you're going to wage, and should this be the action, right? Deciding to go into those directions that are going to be powerful for your life. And so building that plan. And so we have a whole piece of this where you literally get to walk that plan. How am I going to respond in these different areas? And from the wealth of that knowledge, from the meditations, from the affirmations, from the prayer, you get to transform. You get to say, in the end of the day, this is who I want to be. When the lifeline between the dash, between my beginning and end, who was I in the world? I get to define the dash. Build that hater-proof mindset. Let's go out here and change the world.
God bless you real good. We are Joshua Generation, and we are claiming God's promises together right here.
Yes, sir.
Father's favor, man. Much love, Doc.
God bless you, man. Yes, sir. Same to you.